Hi, love. Here we are at Bitcoin Explained Simply, episode 13. I'm Reverend Valerie Love. How you loving? It is Money Monday, and I'm coming to you from my home in Mexico. I am happy to be coming to you today. On Bitcoin Explained Simply, we're going to talk about the probably number one determinant as to whether or not you're going to be wealthy or how wealthy you'll allow yourself to become. And here it is. It is about time preference. Now, this is a concept that you may have heard from your parents. And this is a concept spoken of in the book, The Bitcoin Standard. And the reason that I'm talking to you about time preference in this episode of Bitcoin Explained Simply is because if you do not understand the mechanics of becoming wealthy, what will you do with your Bitcoin? You'll mess things up. So we must understand the mechanics of becoming wealthy. What are the mechanics of becoming wealthy? They're very simple, just like the mechanics of losing weight. It's less input, optimize your body, and greater exercise. So we understand there's a formula. Same thing with becoming wealthy. There's a formula. Of course, we know that you spend less than what you take in. And you take the excess, which is called discretionary income, and you invest it in assets that are appreciating. Hopefully appreciating at an asymmetrical rate, like Bitcoin. And you hold them for many years. You continually optimize your portfolio, and over time you become wealthy. It's not a guess. It's not a guess. It works. Now, what will determine whether you do it or not? Because we already know the mechanics of it works. Many people have done it. Many people have done it. You can do it too, or you're already doing it. What will determine it? Time preference. People, listen very carefully to this, people with a high time preference do not become wealthy. I'll explain that. I'll go into detail with this in a moment. Watch all the way to the end. This is going to be a game changer for you, this video. And people with a low time preference, it's easier for them to become wealthy. What's the difference? People with a high time preference do not have patience, and they want instant gratification and instant results. These are the people that fall for get rich quick schemes, blessing looms, the latest flashy gadget. They need dopamine stimulation, and they jump from thing to thing to thing. Low time preference people are the people who are patient, who can consistently invest over many years, sometimes decades, before getting a huge win. People with a low time preference do not fall for get rich quick schemes. They're in for the long haul, the long term. People with a high time preference consume. People with a low time preference save. People with a high time preference watch Netflix for hours on end and fritter away their day. Yeah, I guess you could say Twitter away their day as well. People with a low time preference work on long-term projects like perhaps writing a book, building a business, creating an app, creating that amazing company, and work on it consistently over time without having to see the results right away, usually years. People with a high time preference put money in savings but cannot keep it there because something always comes up that will cause them to spend their hard-earned savings. People with a low time preference set their life up so that they do not have emergencies all the time. People with a high time preference are thinking about today, right now. This time right now is of the highest priority to them. People with a low time preference are thinking long term. What can we create that lasts? What can we create that's for the next decade and the next decade after that and the next generation? People with a high time preference think saving is boring, because it is. People with a low time preference don't mind that saving is boring. It's boring as hell to just put your things there and leave it there, especially if you are hodling Bitcoin. It's boring as hell, because you don't look at prices. People with a high time preference check prices every single day to see if they made some money yet. People with a low time preference do not continually check the Bitcoin price because it's immaterial to 20, 30, 40 years from now. People with a high time preference will never become wealthy because they can't see past their nose. People with a low time preference that can delay gratification, save for the long haul, not spend everything they get, set their lives up to become wealthy, patient, consistent, persistent, become wealthy. Now let's end with the time frame for this whole thing, because you're like, okay, guys, I got it. I need to be a low time preference person. And I'm being very honest with you. I was a high time preference person. I used to get money, run to the store shopping, TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Nordstrom, designer bag, this purse, that. Can't you tell I'm a diva? I fucking love shopping. Yeah, well, I had to change that. Today I walked through the mall and I just looked around. I was like, you're not getting me with your glitz and your glimmer. I almost started to look in the store. I was like, nah, I don't need to do that. I'm on a mission. And it's not to say that you cannot enjoy your life in the present moment, because I'm always enjoying my life in the present moment. Enjoy your life in the present moment. Don't delay your today for tomorrow. Don't delay your joy. Don't delay your bliss. Enjoy it. And as you enjoy this current moment, do not let the now moment usurp tomorrow. What about your kids, your kids' kids, your kids' kids' kids? Now, I'm going to leave you with this with regard to Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett began professionally investing when he was 10 years old. He is now 90, which means he has been professionally investing for 80 years. He's been professionally investing for more than a lot of us been alive, and sometimes double, triple as long as we've been alive. And this is what has occurred with this is a person with a low time preference. This is what has occurred in the 80 years he's been investing. I read that 95% of his gains came after he was 50 years old. That means 40 years until he got 95% of his wealth. 97% of his wealth was after 65. So you're talking about from the age of 10 to the age of 50 and then 65. You're talking about 40 years. A person with a high time preference would never go for those numbers. No, we got to have fun right now. We got to spend all the money. We got to splurge. We're not saving anything. That's the high time preference person that we are not going to be. The low time preference person says, oh, the tomorrow me is going to be so thankful for what I'm doing today. You see, the low time preference person is giving a gift to the tomorrow you. That's what an investment in Bitcoin is. That's what an investment is, period, in yourself. It's an investment in the future you. Do not be a high time preference person. Be a low time preference person, because that's what it's going to take for you to become very wealthy in Bitcoin. I love you, and I will see you in the next episode all about wallets and exchanges. Peace and love. Bye. Peace. Casey out.